with valid military ID on Veterans Day.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good time.
Have you tried learning a new language that never seems to stick? That's because there's more to language than learning vocabulary. Babbel is different. Babbel's multiple ways to learn helps you explore every aspect of a new language. Anytime, right from your phone or computer. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help from an instructor in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people. We keep them small so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Everything from the interactive lessons and live online classes to the podcasts and videos will teach you things you'll actually use, so you're ready for real-life conversations. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com to start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Still loving those beautiful SolarMax technology panels, huh?
Oh, you know it. Listen, I've been saving tons of money. The panels are going to keep these lights on all through the fall and winter. We're going to be using our appliances more during the holiday season.
Now, you're using lots of energy. You can keep the lights on as much as you want. Run all the appliances, have all the computers, cell phones charged, because with SolarMax, your electricity is practically free.
That's right. And SolarMax is right here in Southern California. They got the best products and best service. They do everything themselves. That means exceptional quality control and no middleman.
Not only that, there are no upfront costs, and they have the newest, most innovative Tesla products like those Tesla 420 panels and power walls.
Yeah, check this out. You can pay $0 down for the Tesla package and $79.96 per month with a 1.99% APR.
Give them a call. It only makes too much sense. Call SolarMax, pound 250 from your cell phone, and say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250, keyword SolarMax by November 30th for this great offer.
Monthly payment available on approved credit. CSLB number 97248.
Tired of theft and vandalism at your commercial property? Proactively protect your business with advanced video security. At Bay Alarm, we keep our eyes on what you prize. Go to bayalarm.com to get protected today.
ACO 28CCL880138. Supply chain chaos? Ben & Jerry's is going to make less flavors. There's going to be shortage of fish sticks. Since I was a little kid, I hated the phrase fish sticks.
I don't even know what it is.
John and Ken, I don't want to know what it is.
We gave it too.
Well, think of it as like a chicken tender, only it's a fish stick.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
On KFI.
Every time I hear that promo, I smell fish sticks. You know, they say if you smell toast, bad. Smell fish sticks. I don't know what that says.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Some of the stories we're following in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. President Biden has wrapped up his 2-day appearance at the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow. He's announced the international effort to protect forests with the help of private investment.
Forests have the potential to reduce carbon globally by more than 1/3.
He also says there should be investment in new transportation infrastructure because of sea level rise. And a federal judge says the widow of Kobe Bryant won't have to undergo psychiatric testing in her lawsuit over the photos of the helicopter crash that killed Bryant, their daughter, and 7 other people. Vanessa Bryant's invasion of privacy lawsuit claims first responders took and shared photos of the crash scene in January. LA County wanted that psychiatric exam to determine if Vanessa Bryant and others could really have emotional distress from photos they'd never seen. Right now, let me give you a chance to win $1,000.
KFI has your chance to win $1,000.
Text the nationwide keyword
Easy, EASY,
to 200-200.
You'll get a confirmation text and info.
Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest.
That's easy to 200-200.
You know the drill? You get a call from a number you don't recognize. Please answer that phone. Because if it's not spam, it could be the guy with the money, and I want you to win it. Otherwise, you'll be sad, and I don't want you to be sad. Your next chance to win comes at 6:20 with Handle. Right now, let's say good morning to ABC's Aaron Katursky. So, Aaron, the Labor Department has some new details now on its vaccine mandate that's expected in the coming days. Fill us in.
Well, this new federal rule was first announced by President Biden back in September, and it's meant to require vaccines on businesses that employ at least 100 people. So any company with 100 or more employees would have to have their workforce vaccinated or subject them to weekly tests. And that is something that, we've seen in different municipalities, but this is the first federal rule to subject as many as 80 million workers to a vaccine requirement. It is taking shape. We should learn the particulars in the next couple of days.
Okay, and I think that that's what a lot of these companies are probably questioning. Like, hey, the feds are coming in. We're private companies. Yes, we have more than 100 people working here. But maybe, what if the business owner is somebody who's anti-vax, or it's specifically this one, or they know that 50% of their workforce, say they have 50, say they have exactly 100, 50% of those people have said, no way are we getting it. We'll walk if you make us get it. Those business owners have to be thinking, oh my gosh, like I could lose everything here shortly.
Well, it's possible, although a lot of big companies already require vaccines of their workers. I know I work for a company that does, and many others I think do as well. And many companies that we've heard of are on board with the idea that their workforce should be vaccinated. Maybe this gives them the excuse they need to say, hey, it ain't us, it's the federal government. And we know that when vaccine mandates have been implemented in different municipalities, that's made a difference in the vaccine rate. It's really skyrocketed because people don't want to risk losing their jobs. So I think that there's certainly a little bit of push and pull here, and a lot of Republican governors said that they are going to fight the Biden administration on this. But I wonder when this is finally implemented, how needed it will actually be, and how much opposition there truly will be.
And who would have to enforce this? OSHA? Would they have to go around and make sure the businesses are compliant?
Exactly, OSHA, the Department of Labor, and that would be the an enforcement mechanism that I'm not sure is fully done done up yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Like that seems like you would almost have to create a whole other division or something, or hire a whole lot of people to handle that extra workload. That seems like just an additional burden on OSHA itself. All right, now let's talk about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I don't know how much enforcement is really the goal here. I mean, just by announcing these kinds of rules, I think the idea is to say, look, this is coming, let's do this. And that will be maybe that will be enough.
Would there be no enforcement? I mean, would companies be, I know that we're waiting for the details to come out, but is there talk of them facing fines if they don't make their employees get vaccinated?
I don't know, and I think we'll see what the enforcement mechanism really is. I mean, in theory, I think that there would be some kind of fine possible, but again, I don't think the goal is to be punitive. I think the goal is to get more people vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm sure that is, definitely. All right, so now let's talk about the CDC coming together today to talk about the vaccine for kids, specifically Pfizer, with kids age 5 to 11. What are we expecting?
We expect the CDC is going to recommend this, and we'll see if they make any adjustments to what the FDA said, but we think that by the end of today, the CDC will have recommended the Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds. And then the only other step would be the sign-off from the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky. And we don't see any reason why she wouldn't. It's possible that, assuming this all happens today and tonight, that shots for 5 to 11-year-olds with a Pfizer vaccine could begin tomorrow, because a number of the doses, and it's about a third the dose of the adults, but a number of those doses have already been given to pharmacists and to pediatricians.
Yeah, because the Biden administration anticipated this, right? Didn't they purchase like 30,000 doses or something like that?
They did. They purchased all these 30 million doses, which is, or even more than that. I think about closer to 60 million to vaccinate the entire elementary school population in the country. They've been pre-positioned around the country, and that way they're ready to go.
All right, Aaron, thanks for explaining it all. We'll see what happens today.
Thank you.
All right, see you later. ABC's Aaron Katersky. Ooh. All right, so you are a business owner, and you have more than 100 employees, and you know that this is coming. I'm just curious what your plan of attack is. no matter whether you're pro-vaccine or not. I think that's going to be beside the point. Will you make sure to come up with some incentive program to get your employees to get vaccinated? Or will you come up with some, okay, hey, you don't have to get vaccinated, but you'll have to get tested. And will you do what we've seen municipalities do, charge the employees out of their paychecks? Because are you going to take that cost on, say, twice a week for those employees who don't want to get vaccinated? Ooh, I've never wanted to own a business, but now I really don't want to own a business. That sounds miserable. Did you see the story about Hawaii's beaches and shorelines disappearing? Apparently, rising sea levels and recent storm surges have been causing faster than usual erosion along the beaches and the shorelines in Hawaii. So you put those sea levels and you put the storm surges, and ProPublica reports 3 of Hawaii's major islands have lost roughly 1/4 of their beaches. State officials say sea levels are also rising about an inch every 4 years, and that threatens 70% of Hawaii's coastline. And speaking of storms, I don't know why I'm so amused by this story, but weather experts have run out of names for the Atlantic storms for the 3rd time in history. Tropical storm Wanda formed in the Atlantic over the weekend, and Wanda was the last name on the National Hurricane Center's set list for this year. Here's my thing. Why do we have a set list? And why does it stop with W? Don't we have X, Y, and Z? There are plenty of people with names that start with X, Y, and Z that we could go to. And why do we have to set a list? We don't know what Mother Nature's going to do. We don't know how many storms she's going to give us. And can't we start over? If we're on W, and whatever reason you're boycotting X, Y, and Z, Atlantic storm people, go back to A. I can give you plenty of names to start with A. Alex would love to have a storm named after her. I'm sure of it. They say forecasters used to use the Greek alphabet letters as backup names, but the World Meteorological Organization voted to stop doing that earlier this year. Then that's on you. You bring those Greek alphabet letters back. So what, the next storm is the no-name storm? I told you, I don't know why I'm so amused by that. Alright, when we come back, we're going to talk with ABC's Sarah Isker. So far, the Supreme Court seems to be showing that it's a little wary of Texas's abortion ban enforcement. Also, we've got elections today happening around the country. We're going to talk more about why these elections, even though they're not happening in California, they're happening in Virginia, the governor's race there, New Jersey, Buffalo, Minneapolis. So why do we care? Well, actually, this is a big kind of, a lot of people think this is sort of a little peek into the future of what politics might look like. How are the Democrats shaping up? How are the Republicans shaping up? All that straight ahead. Right now, let's take another look at your drive. Dave's watching the 101.
Northbound at the 110 Pasadena Freeway. Still have that crash. It's blocking the carpool and the 2 left lanes. Traffic is jammed from Mission Road. Headed to Irvine, southbound on the 405. This is just after Irvine Center Drive. Look out for a crash blocking the carpool lane. You're still there from the 133. Heading Glen Helen, the 15 northbound after Glen Helen Parkway. It's the injury crash in the front of the buyer and along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Gilster. Hey, Tommy here. Know why I got a whole house water filtration system from Purigan Water? Because I don't want to wonder if my family's tap water is safe. And you never know how clean this water is in California, right? No more wasting money on bottled water, no plastic bottles to recycle, and no more visits to the chiropractor's office because you're lifting 5-gallon bottles of water or 40 pounds of salt. Plus, no calcium buildup on faucets or shower heads, and that alone is worth it. Plus, Purigan extends the life of your water heater. Stay on with this clean water. Here's the best part. Purigan Water offers free lifetime service. No one else can make that claim. And the system takes up a little tiny amount of space. So let's get Purigan, California's preferred whole house water filtration system. And for a limited time, when you buy a whole house system, you get the 6-stage alkaline drink system for free. Just call toll-free 844-80-WATER. 844-80-WATER. That's P-U-R, again, water.com. Spelled wrong, but the water's right. 844-80-WATER.
SoCal weather from KFI, mostly cloudy with highs mid-60s at the beaches, low 70s for Metro LA and Orange County, just the mid-70s again for the valleys and the Inland Empire. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Medicare annual enrollment, the period is here. It is open, and this is for folks who are either on Medicare or about to go on Medicare. And the reason it's important to contact the folks at AGAMedicareOptions.com is that navigating Medicare can be a real bear. It can be overwhelming because plans change every year, sometimes substantially, and your situation is different than your neighbor. Let's talk about AGA and what they'll do. They'll advise you step by step on a plan that fits your situation. Their agents are local. You're talking to someone who is right here in Southern California who's assigned to you, so you have one person you're talking to. AGA will compare most of the major plans at once at no cost to you, and since changes do occur every year, you want to make sure you're on the right plan, or you will be on the right plan. And your benefit review is free. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keyword My Medicare, pound 250 on the cell, say My Medicare, or visit AGAMedicareOptions.com.
Walgreens is making Medicare easier than ever with the new Find RX coverage tool. Compare plans online, over the phone, or in person for free. Find the plan that's right for you, plus low-cost copays by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
We survived winter in Siberia, my mother told me, by literally eating dirt. Hello, I'm John Akoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I can't imagine living like that, but dirt, my mom told me, had nutrients. We are so fortunate to live in the world's richest country, but every day children go hungry. At Rooter Hero Plumbing, we want to help. So we're bringing back our Hero Helps program. Before COVID-19, we fed the homeless, adopted families, and cleaned the bay. But our most popular program was handing out canned goods. Rooter Hero will once again hand out food with no questions asked. Simply pull up in your car and we'll help your family. Go to rooterhero.com/HeroHelp for the date and location. If you want to donate canned goods, call us at 866-DRAIN-77 for a Rooter Hero Plumbing location nearest you. Thank you.
CL 102-8886.
At City, we call Jacob the morning, call Jacob.
Live and local.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Glad you're with me this morning. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, and some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. American Airlines says it is working on getting back to normal operations following a weekend of canceled and delayed flights. The airline has blamed the more than 2,200 canceled flights on weather at its hub in Texas and staffing shortages, but says nearly 2,000 flight attendants who had been on leave are set to return, and hopefully that'll get the flights back on track. Also, power's been restored to all parts of LAX. The airport says electricity was knocked out to many terminals about 8 o'clock last night. Some terminals had to go to backup power. Planes were still able to come and go, though, from the airport. News is brought to you by OPO Law. Right now, let's say good morning to ABC's Sarah Isker. Sarah, so a lot of people are focused today on all the elections across the country. And here in California, Californians might be saying, nah, what do we care? Actually, this might give us a little glimpse into the future of politics.
First of all, you already had your election day, so stop raining on the rest of our parade. Election day is my Super Bowl and Christmas and Thanksgiving all wrapped into one. I love these Tuesdays in November and the fact that we have off-year ones. Oh, this is the best. It's crunchy leaves and voting. Two of my favorite things.
How can you not? I mean, you can't go wrong there. People standing in line. It's brisk. They have their coffee. I'm in. I'm in.
It's a Norman Rockwell painting in so many places today across the country. So, look, we can overread these off-year elections, certainly, but, you know, we don't get to vote that often, and so we're capturing a national mood. Let me just mention some of the races to watch today. So you have, obviously, Virginia. That's where all of the focus is. This is a state that Joe Biden won by double digits a year ago. And the question is whether Glenn Youngkin, the Republican, closes that gap, makes up that gap, and by how much in some of these, especially Northern Virginia counties, which were suburban, college-educated Biden voters, do they go Biden-Youngkin? And I think the message from that would be that inflation, crime, and even education, and we should divide out what education means in this case, frustration with kids not getting back into public schools, and then separately from that, there's the critical race theory debate, and then, of course, some very local issues to Virginia. There was a sexual assault in a Virginia school. The superintendent lied about it at a school board meeting. So there's things like that that don't really translate nationally. I think that should the Republican win, you will absolutely have Republicans trying to capture that momentum for 2022 in the midterms, and you'll have Democrats looking at the Democratic candidate saying, okay, he tried to tie the Republican to Trump, and it didn't work. And I think, truthfully, that is the takeaway, regardless of how this comes out. If the Republican loses by 1 point, the state's still shifted by 9 points. If he wins by 1 point, the state's shifted by 11 points. You know, that's not that different, really, in the grand scheme of things. You have also the mayor's race in Buffalo. Now, I know no one, especially in California, really wants to know about the mayor's race in Buffalo. But let me tell you what happened. So in the Democratic primary, a Democratic socialist beat the incumbent Democratic mayor in the primary. Now look, if you think nobody votes in an off-cycle election, just wait till it's a mayor's race, and then it's a Democratic primary in a mayor's race in an off-cycle election. So we're not talking about many people here. The incumbent said, that's fine, I'm still running as a write-in candidate. So he has spent $100,000 on little rubber stamps that he has handed out to his supporters to put his name on their ballot. This actually is a race I'm going to watch very, very closely because this is really pitting the progressive part of the Democratic Party against the moderate part of the Democratic Party. If a Republican wins in Virginia and then a write-in moderate Democrat wins this mayor's race in Buffalo, I think it's a huge repudiation, a huge loss for the progressive movement, especially as they're trying to put more money into that social safety net bill on the Hill with the Progressive Caucus in Congress.
Well, especially because you have progressives like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York. I mean, she's one of the leaders in the Progressive Party. And lately we have seen so much from her, so much from Senator Sanders, so much from the squad regarding that social spending bill. And then you've seen their fight on one side, and then you have the moderates like Joe Manchin on the other side. And so I wonder if the outcome of this Buffalo race might even show a little bit or gleam a little light onto how that fight goes down. Do the progressives win, or does Manchin get his way?
I think that's exactly right, because, look, both sides are going to spin all of these races no matter how they turn out. We all know that. That's how politics works. But, you know when you're spinning. And so for the progressives to say, we lost when our person's name was on the ballot and the moderate, wasn't even on the ballot and we lost, I think that would be a huge blow and hard to explain why in a deep blue city progressives still aren't capturing voters' votes. And then, of course, the Virginia race, losing a deep blue state to the Republicans. And it's hard to blame any of their normal bugaboos. Terry McAuliffe had already been governor. He had very high name ID in the state, endless money to spend. So for him, again, to drop, we already know, between 9 and 11 points, really, it's a huge problem for Joe Biden and his administration right now to grapple with what's going to happen. They tried to get those bills done right before this vote. They failed to do so. The progressives wouldn't go along. They could have doomed themselves.
I thought something interesting, too, in that Virginia governor's race that was sort of telling. One of Terry McAuliffe's big, campaign points was, this Youngkin guy, who's he? What's he know about Virginia? I know about Virginia. And Youngkin almost seems to push that aside and sort of ignore it, to the sense of, I don't really care what you say, I'm going straight to the people. And especially like we were talking about on the education issue, it was all about your kids, getting your kids back in school, the vaccine mandates, the mask mandates, those kinds of things. He was focusing on the things that really mattered to a person's regular everyday routine and not as much. It was kind of odd to me. I thought, he's not really focused on the politics of this. He's speaking directly to the people and sort of kind of walking back from that I am a traditional politician role.
So, and Youngkin's not a traditional politician. He'd never run for office before. He was the CEO of something called the Carlyle Group. And I think when we go back and study this race, it'll be very interesting. Terry McAuliffe brought in all the big names. Barack Obama, the vice president, the president, Pharrell, Dave Matthews Band. And Glenn Youngkin said, I'm making this race about Virginia, and I'm making this race about me. He's really never had surrogates to speak for him, never nationalized the race, and he stuck with, as you said, this education and crime message that looked for, the spring, the late spring after he got the nomination, and through the summer, wasn't catching on at all. His numbers weren't moving. Terry McAuliffe was way, way ahead, nearly double digits, and then all of a sudden, when Joe Biden's numbers started falling, when Afghanistan happened, when the Delta surge happened, people gave Youngkin a second look. He started to catch on, and that momentum just really had rolled downhill. It's a very interesting campaign strategy that, frankly, I think in a different scenario could have failed. This could have been a runaway race, and we wouldn't be talking about it at all. He was given that little opening nationally in some ways, and that's when his very local message took off.
All right, Sarah, I didn't realize how nerdy you and I are when it comes to politics, because I could continue this conversation with you for eons, I swear. All right, let's switch over to the Texas abortion ban and what the Supreme Court thinks about it. Did they sort of tip their hand yesterday?
Yes and no. So, just to get everyone up to speed, this is that Texas law, SB 8, that went into effect September 1st, that deputized anyone in the country to sue in Texas, anyone who facilitated an abortion after there was a heartbeat detected. And you get $10,000. It's like a fun little lottery. And the Supreme Court initially denied the request from the abortion providers to prevent the law from going into effect for some very technical legal reasons. The Department of Justice got involved, the healthcare providers came back up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, in a very, very unusual turn of events, said they would hear the case for oral argument on an emergency basis. And so they pushed another case out of the way, scheduled argument for yesterday with about 2 weeks' notice, had full briefing. I mean, this is exciting stuff if you're a legal nerd, by the way. You can't tell. But I do think it's fascinating. The word abortion was fairly used in the argument. The word guns probably came up more because a law like this could be passed in any state, and it was really about thwarting a constitutional right through these civil enforcement actions. So whether it's New York saying that you could sue someone who sold a legal gun, or in California saying that you could sue someone who said something that was First Amendment protected, but that you found offensive, basically putting a civil penalty on hate speech, for instance, that would be protected under the Free Speech Clause. It's not hard to imagine all sorts of constitutional rights that the state, the federal government can't come after you for, but that you can just have other citizens sue you for. And I think the justices were clearly concerned about the possibility of that sort of law moving across the country in other states. At the same time, and this is, beyond what we're going to get into in this radio show, the legal intricacies of how you stop that in a pre-enforcement before the law goes into effect without a whole bunch of unintended consequences is really messy. And so you saw the justices very skeptical of the Texas law, basically agreeing that the thing was unconstitutional. But the question is, can you prevent laws like this from going into effect in the first place? Or can you only prevent them after they're in effect? So, for instance, in Texas, there's 14 lawsuits currently being brought by citizens suing someone who facilitated an abortion. They've been consolidated. We kind of know how those cases are going to turn out, but in the meantime, of course, abortions in Texas have fallen by half. And whether you agree that abortion should be a constitutional right, it's a recognized constitutional right at this point. And so to have that constitutional right so chilled in a state due to basically clever legal maneuvering, I think really bothered, for instance, Justices Kavanaugh and Barrett.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these stories have so much trickle-down impact across the country.
Yeah.
That I think that's what's so fascinating about it. Okay, to my new best friend, Sarah Isker, thank you for your time this morning.
See you next week.
All right, see you later. Hashtag hero. I love to nerd out on politics with other nerds in politics. I know. Who feels bad for Scott right now? I know. All right, when we come back, oh my gosh, have you rented or priced even renting a car lately? Holy cow. It will cost you about as much as your hotel will. And there is a particular rental car company that is profiting big time from all of us who are just, clamoring to get out and travel again. Also, if you have an electric vehicle and you have passed a Tesla charger when you need a charge and flipped it the bird because it doesn't go with your car, now it might. And also, you want cryptocurrency with that? I'll tell you which fast food chain is giving away a chance to earn Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrency. That's all coming up. Dave's back to your drive on the 101.
Northbound at the 110, you've got a crash blocking the carpool and the two left lanes. Traffic stop from Mission Road. South El Monte, trouble on the 605 southbound at Valley. Look out for a crash blocking the right lane. You're slow from the 10. West Covina, eastbound side of the 10 at Citrus. The crash blocks the two right lanes. Things are slow from Azusa. And as you make your way through Irvine, still have that trouble spot on the southbound 405 after Irvine Center Drive. Crash blocks the carpool lane. You're slow from the 133. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Right now at Wendy's, see why everyone is raving about their brand new fries. Natural cut, skin on with a hint of sea salt and guaranteed to be hot and crispy or they'll replace them. The way fries should be. Try Wendy's guaranteed hot and crispy fries today at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Von Miller is heading to L.A. The Rams made a blockbuster trade, sending a second and third round pick to the Broncos for the 8-time Pro Bowler. The Chiefs survived the Giants on Monday Night Football. Kansas City hit their game-winning field goal in the final minutes to improve to 500. And Russell Westbrook said he sleepwalked mid-game because he's bringing energy to the Lakers. Westbrook danced across half court in Friday's win over the Cavs. I'm Missy Jordan.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
If you own a business and manage to keep 5 or more people on the payroll through the pandemic, there's a new government program that will pay you tens of thousands of dollars per employee. And this is not a loan. This is a grant. The challenge is getting your hands on this money. This is a bureaucracy. InnovationRefunds.com cuts through the red tape, helps you get the cash. They do all of the legwork. They don't charge a penny until you receive the money. And what they do is simply share a percentage of the money they get for you. They got my business a 6-figure refund. Now, their average client gets $250,000. That's impressive. Go to innovationrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions. Innovationrefunds.com. It's no risk, and it certainly is high reward. Innovationrefunds.com. They help me. I'm sure they can help you. Innovationrefunds.com.
Still loving those beautiful SolarMax technology panels, huh?
Oh, you know it. Listen, I've been saving tons of money. The panels are going to keep these lights on all through the fall and winter. We're going to be using our appliances more during the holiday season.
No, you're using lots of energy. You can keep the lights on as much as you want. Run all the appliances, have all the computers, cell phones charged, because with SolarMax, your electricity practically free.
That's right. And SolarMax is right here in Southern California. They got the best products and best service. They do everything themselves. That means exceptional quality control and no middleman.
Not only that, there are no upfront costs, and they have the newest, most innovative Tesla products like those Tesla 420 panels and power walls.
Yeah, check this out. You can pay $0 down for the Tesla package and $79.96 per month with a 1.99% APR.
Give them a call. It only makes too much sense. Call SolarMax, pound 250 from your cell phone, and say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250 keyword SolarMax by November 30th for this great offer.
Monthly payment available on quick credit, CSW number 9720.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And back to Emu, and Kevin for the final question. Category is Hills You Climb. All right, Lemu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for spares. Only pay for what you need.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's California area attorneys. 1855-30, 500 San Diego, California, 92108. CordellCordell.com. Hey, it's Dean Sharp. What does solar mean for your future? Well, that depends on whether your solar is Sunlux Solar. Sunlux Solar means you've unshackled your home from the rising cost of electricity. Sunlux Solar means uninterrupted power during blackouts or natural disasters. It means no more dependence on gasoline because your home fuels your car. Sunlux Solar means saving tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the system. I design homes. I know just how much is riding on your solar. That's why I partner with Sunlux, because Sunlux is solar done right. The most comprehensive warranty in the industry, 5-star customer service, critical partnerships with industry leaders like Tesla and LG. With Sunlux, it's a partnership for your home's future, and that future is just a click away at sunlux.com. That's sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374.
Tired of managing multiple vendors to protect your business? With a complete range of commercial fire and security solutions, Bay Alarm can protect it all with just one call. Go to bayalarm.com to get protected today.
CCL 880128. California has millions of homes that could be damaged in a strong earthquake. An earthquakes are inevitable in the Golden State. An older home is especially vulnerable to earthquake damage, so you may need to take steps to strengthen it and help reduce the chance of damage. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com to learn about better protecting your home from earthquake damage. The work may cost less than you think and can often be completed in a few days. You've worked hard to get a home. Now is the time to protect it. Get prepared today so you can worry less tomorrow. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com.
I realized that I had depression when everything was going great for me. Professionally, creatively, in my relationships, but I was on the cusp of tears with even the simplest of tasks. It wasn't an event that made me sad. It was just being. Then I found out that over 350 million people around the world are affected by depression. Let's finally talk about mental health. Go to iHeartRadio.com/talk for tips on how to start the conversation. This has been brought to you by NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and iHeartMedia.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Kanye West has now legally changed his name to Ye.
It's Ye.
But it's Y-E. It's Kanye minus the con. Y-E. How's that pronounced? Well, in this particular instance, it is pronounced Ye.
Bill Handle.
Yeah.
Morning from 6 to 10 on KFI.
Coming up in just a second. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. President Biden has wrapped up his 2-day appearance at the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow. He's announced an international effort to protect forests with the help of private investment. He also says there should be investment in new transportation infrastructure, all because of sea level rise. 558 on your wake-up call. You notice this new rental car pricing? Oh my gosh. These rental car companies know that we were champing at the bit to get out there, and they are charging a pretty penny. Now recently, Hertz made a lot of headlines because it had made a deal with Fascia and Uber. Well, it looks like Avis is doing even better than Hertz. So Hertz stock is currently on the NASDAQ bulletin board. Hopes to become the regular NASDAQ through an initial an IPO, that is. But recently, shares of Avis went up more than 110%. 110%. Here's the deal, though. Since July, they are up almost 380%. Why? Oh, because we are more than willing to pay whatever it is to return to leisure and business travel this year. And so we are the reason. So Avis, next time you rent me a car, you tell me thank you. You're welcome. Tesla's opening supercharger networks to help cars from other brands. If you've never had an electric vehicle, the chargers are kind of like when you go to the gas station and you have a regular gas pump and then a diesel one. And they're just slightly different. You couldn't intermingle the two. That's the way that the Tesla superchargers are. They are only for Tesla vehicles, not for other electric vehicles of any other brand. But now, Tesla says it's got 10 of its charging stations in the Netherlands that are now available for non-Tesla owners. Tesla hasn't said why it says the Netherlands as its kind of pilot program, but here's the deal. It's not that customers like, oh man, we want to make sure that everybody with an electric vehicle has an opportunity to charge their car no matter where they are, even if they're at one of the Tesla ones. I mean, that may be the headline, but let's be honest. It's a profit thing. It could be a whole new potential revenue stream.